Hello, this is your lonely old lady again, coming to you to tell you a little bit more about a day in the life of a lonely old lady. And what's been happening over the last week or so is that I've been busy weeding gardens, and I've gotten most of my gardens done. My lawn looks really good because I've even gotten that done. But in the process, I've kind of wore myself out as well. I was sick for a while and then I got well, and I think that I overdid things a little bit. So I had to take some time to just kind of rest. And I did still need to go to work because I do use that income and I do need that income. So um, I had to go to work anyway. And so I've been kind of just lazing around, doing not much of anything, watching TV. And my favorite show in the morning is the Today Show, which I really, really, really like. And it also helps keep me up on the current news that's going on. And I also want to mention to everybody that if you have children, I don't care if they're adults or kids, be sure to tell them to let you know what they're doing in their lives. You're not trying to pry, you're trying to protect them. Out here in Utah, we've had several instances of young women disappearing, and then when they finally find them, they find their bodies. And so they're getting themselves in some dangerous situations, and parents don't seem to always know what they've got on their cell phones. They don't seem to know who they've been dating or what dating sites they're on or any of that stuff. And those are the kinds of things that should be shared with your parents. And parents, you should be not trying to pry, but making sure that you are aware of the things that's going on in their lives, in case something happens, and they can get to them quicker. And they can find out what's going on a lot quicker if you have some idea of who they're talking to, who they're conversing with on their cell phones, and you know who their friends are. If they're in college, who are they hanging around with in college? Who are you dating now? What is his name? If the only thing you have of a current date is their name, that is going to help somebody if they wind up disappearing. Someplace to start looking and asking questions. And don't put yourself in dangerous situations if you're using date sites. Some of these date sites, you get some really weirdos on there, and if you go and meet up with a stranger by yourself in the middle of the night, that stranger could be out to hurt you. So you really should get to know who you are and who you're planning on dating long before you actually go on a date alone with them. Make sure that it's all group dates and a whole group of people, and you don't be with them by yourself until you really get to know who they are. It's a dangerous world we live in, and I worry so much about young people, and that includes my own children. They're all adults, but there are times that I worry about them and some of the things that they do, and the fact that they seem to want to keep their lives secret from me. And really and truly, I would prefer knowing who they are, the names of the people that they're going out with, the kinds of groups they're going out with, and kind of where they're hanging out normally. It's just as a precaution, so somebody knows directions that they might be heading in the event that they do disappear on you. They could be in real trouble. So that's my lecture for today on your children. So back to what's going on in my life, which is basically not a whole lot, because what? I live alone. And so if I want to laze around all day long, and which I have been doing the last couple of days, other than my work, I've been going to work, coming home, and just kind of lazing around, watching TV or crocheting. One of the things I really like to do is crochet, and I've got some crochet projects going. So those are the kinds of things that I've been doing. Not much of anything, and that's because nobody tells me to get off my dead butt and get my house cleaned. Nobody's to tell me to get off my dead butt and go out and do yard work. Nobody tells me to get off my dead butt and go to the store and get some food in the house. I can do this all by myself. And if I get hungry enough, I guarantee you I will get food in the house. And if I notice that things are getting really bad outside, I'm going to be out there working. And the same thing with if I sit and watch TV and do my crochet project for 24 hours, or actually I have to sleep 8 of it, but for the majority of the day, that's my business. And everybody can jolly well stay out of it, because they don't live here and they don't tell me what to do. If anything, I will tell them what to do because most of the time they're my children and they can listen to me. So anyway, so that's kind of the way a life of a lonely old lady really is. I can do what I want, when I want, how I want, anytime and where I want to do. So what's on the agenda for today? I'm going to spend some time doing my crochet project, but not all day. I'm going to, I sat and watched TV for a couple of hours, watched the Today Show, and then decided that I needed to get up and do something. There are some weeds in the garden that needs to be taken care of before they get too bad. And I've got 2 gardens yet to weed. So that's kind of on my agenda for today. And so we will be going out probably in a few minutes and going out in the front and getting into the 2 gardens that need to be weeded. And so I will be talking to you in a little bit when I get to those gardens, and we'll visit a little bit while I pull some weeds and get some weeds out, and you'll see how I manage to weed. And it's kind of a not exactly a traditional way of weeding small gardens, but I do it because it's easier to do it, and much easier sometimes than just trying to pull them all out and leaving the roots in the ground. So for now and until at least a couple of minutes till I get set up outside, I will talk to you a little bit later and let you know what's going on in my life today. Hi, here I am again, your lonely old lady, and I'm outside and I'm going to try to tackle this garden. And one of the things I'm going to try to show you with this thing, if I can get it down there, is the weeds are more grasses, and so weed killer doesn't do any good with them anyway. But this is along my next door neighbor's driveway actually, and I do this because he doesn't really, because most of it is on my land. So I am going to be weeding this, and this is kind of what it looks like. And when I weed, I'm not sure I can keep the camera on it very long because it's really super windy out here today. So when I weed, I don't use one of these little shovels to get down on my knees and pull out the weeds, because these weeds are usually big and they're fairly deep, and it's much easier instead to use this shovel, which is my garden spade, and it gets done much quicker, and I can manage to get the roots in the plants, the weeds, out as well. And then my other tool that I use is a weed bucket that I put my weeds in. I have it right beside me so I can put my weeds in there. And in case I need to kneel down, I have my kneeling pad so that I don't hurt my knees, because some of this ground is really heavy or really hard, and it's also not really even, and so it can hurt my knees after a while. And so I'd like to have this kneeler thing that helps me to be able to do it. And then of course I have my handy dandy garden gloves, which kind of protects my hands. I did manage to get a blister on my thumb, which is pretty painful, so I put a band-aid over it so that I can work with my shovel. And so I'm going to try pulling weeds, and hopefully my camera will not get knocked over until I've at least been able to do some. So I'm going to turn this a little bit because I'm going to be going into the garden itself. And hopefully I can get it to go down underneath the leaves. Pick them up. And put them in my bucket. Now that one I didn't get very many weeds out because it didn't get very deep. So I'm going to jump on this thing and see if I can pull some of these grasses out. They're grass. They're not really weeds. They're grass. it's called some kind of a bent grass, and it's a grass weed that invades the grass areas here in Utah, and they trail underneath the ground, so you kind of have to get their roots. And I've been told the only way you can get them out of your grass is either you got to pull them out and work with it that way. If you have it in your grass, all you can do is kill the whole lawn and then rototill it and replant it. But you have to make sure that these grass things are totally dead before you do it. I can't afford, this is a big lawn, I can't afford to do that on my lawn, so I sort of live with them and pull out what I can. But that's what's invading these flower beds as well. And so they're harder to get out. And here in this particular bed, they are I don't have a lot of space there because the plants are right there too. And so see some more of these things. See, this one is a really, really long trailer. And the dirt's kind of hard here because even though I water it, these flowers are really dense. So the water kind of gets there, but it doesn't get all over in the soil and doesn't go really deep. So that makes it even harder to dig these weeds out. I'm absolutely determined to get these weeds out. So I'm not going to hold you here watching me try to get these weeds out of here. So in the next video, I will let you know how I did with these and how the bed looks after it's done. Talk to you later.